From science-based targets and life cycle assessment, genuine sustainability works best when underpinned by hard evidence and data. So how can we leverage data and tech to create more sustainable spaces? That's what we're here to discuss at this Mix Roundtable with Autex Acoustics.
I think some of the most interesting ways, or what's been happening recently, is a lot of the green data is moving upstream into the design process. We're also kind of tapping into things like the ICE database, which looks at circular ecology. We're also looking at things like EPDs. But I think fundamentally what's been quite profound in the last few years is how much of this green data is kind of moving upstream and how it's starting to become more of a design driver rather than just a bolt-on at the end.
It's more how technology has allowed us to look at sustainability less in terms of broader approaches conceptually and being able to drill down to deliverables. So it's much more around having objective criteria for a lot more of the reporting that we're doing. One is around the carbon and the water use that we have within our projects. The second one more is around materials themselves, because we can make the right decisions on projects right from the outset in terms of the materials that get chosen. And those materials, we can actually track them now. They have material passports, so we know where something comes from, what was involved in its manufacture, how it was transported to site. So there's a lot more quantifiable information that we have around the products that we've selected.
We're not acting fast enough. But I think waiting for all of the sort of data and tools to be in place is also not the answer. And again, there's going to be no quick fixes. So some things that we know empirically that work and things that we're trying to work with are sort of building more leanly, building less, thinking about waste, circularity, things like that, which don't actually need that much by way of data anymore. We don't need to wait for lots of information. There's some things that we just know are going to do better. So I think that's kind of what we're now starting to actually take a step back and look at that rather than waiting for sort of technological solutions.
I think this is the most important part of the conversation, to be honest. I think we're all really bad at wanting to gatekeep our ideas because we all want to be the best at everything. But I think when we start to share it, that's when we start to make some real impact, because when we share it, younger members of teams then start to understand things. Our clients understand it better and make better decisions. But also practices who don't have the ability to put resource into things can then try and do better themselves, because we do have resource, and then ultimately things become better on a global scale because of it. And then but also when we share information, we understand different practices like product design, MEP things that we don't usually sort of think about in that way. So I think that's the most important part of all of this to me.
Climate change is accelerating at a really alarming rate. I think the thing that's most clear to me is that designers are sensitive to this and they want to be able to do something about it. There's access to a lot of tools that are available, but it's more just around integrating all of that technology together and ensuring that people have access to it, they know how to utilize it, and they know how to utilize it for the best possible choices that are available.
We're trying to look at circularity with things like material passports so that we start thinking of the spaces we're designing not as a point and piece, but as a system that can be disassembled and then has a life after.